Thank you for joining me today. I will be talking about successful e-commerce strategies in light of COVID-19's changing marketplace. This presentation is geared more towards manufacturers and how manufacturers should view and compete in the new marketplace. A little bit about me. What would you like to know? Well, down below, you'll see my screen names for LinkedIn as well as Instagram. Please feel free to reach out to me during the conference, after the conference, at any point. If you have any questions about e-commerce, how you can get into e-commerce, any recommendations that I might be able to provide you, I will certainly do my best to get them to you. The basics. Currently, I'm managing partner at Fox Digital. We're an LA-based digital advertising agency. Our clients are all over the globe. We have clients in North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia. No Antarctica or off-world clients yet, but we have a pretty good sales team, so who knows what they can do. In the past, I was head of global marketing for Shop.com Market America. Shop.com Market America, great company. They do billions of dollars in revenue. And I was in charge of marketing, and we had about 15,000 SKUs that were our own SKUs that generated about 99% of our total revenue. And I was tasked with marketing in US, Canada, Mexico, Hong Kong, Taiwan, the UK, Australia. We had 3 million monthly customers. We were a top 100 internet retailer, which is kind of a big deal. It just shows that we were, a powerhouse, and we kept growing. And we understood how to get our products into these different marketplaces and these different markets, and then how to thrive as well. But the most important thing, I'm passionate about global digital marketing. I love marketing. I love digital marketing. I started back in the direct mail days. Then as online marketing started to develop, I was one of the first people in that space. From there, able to do a lot of great and fun things to generate revenue for a lot of different companies. And the interesting part is that with the globalization of digital marketing tools and platforms, today it hasn't been easier to really get your products out there and develop marketplaces, not only at home, but in just about every country around the world. Now, the elephant in the room. One effect of COVID was that the world just changed, just forever changed. Interesting part is that we live in an interesting time where we've had shared experiences. We've gone through lockdowns. We've gone through the fear of, am I catching it? Are my friends and family catching it? What's happening? Am I going to have a company? Am I going to have a job? I don't know. Everyone across the world went through that, different time frames, but everyone went through that. But during this time, and what China saw in the early 2000s with SARS, is that the consumer wants to buy more and more online. They want to buy everything, essentials, not essentials. And we saw companies like Alibaba and JD in the early 2000s come out of nowhere. And they're responsible for really building the e-commerce market, not marketing structure, but e-commerce infrastructure and marketing in China that turned China into an e-commerce powerhouse, more advanced than more places around the globe. Here in the US, we have Amazon. Amazon's just a beast. They come in, they process the data, they sell stuff. They do wonderful things for their business, and their business model is pretty simple. Get products out. Manufacturers now can no longer just manufacture. Manufacturers must look for different ways to expand their business into direct consumer. I'm going to repeat that. You need to expand your business into direct to consumer marketplaces. Look at Nike. What else? Well, In Q1 and Q2 of last year, wholesale orders vanished. We shipped orders, they were in transit. By the time they landed, there was no one to pick them up because they didn't want to pick them up. Our businesses were just out of business. So during this time, revenue just dropped for manufacturers who were dependent on this type of sales channel. Those sales never came back. So as we progressed through Q2, Q3, Q4, even Q1 this year, retailers began to carry just less overall inventory because that gave them less financial risk. Businesses cut their orders, so their future orders were not as great as their past orders were in previous years. Many retailers and distributors just never reopened their doors. They just vanished, poof, never to be seen again. Meanwhile, direct-to-consumer, e-commerce saw record numbers. Non-travel, non-apparel e-commerce grew like never before. Globally, those positioned to deliver domestically captured record sales in April and May of 2020. Yet, according to redtechnology.com, only about 45% of manufacturers even sell online. That is something that really needs to change, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. Saying manufacturers are not direct-to-consumer marketers, that's just wrong. It's just flawed, old-school thinking. The pandemic has taught us we need to expand our markets and strengthen our businesses with e-commerce, period. Those who have experienced lesser trauma to their business as those who were dependent on things. The globalization of digital marketing. Today, in most open markets, we have Facebook, Instagram, Google Ads, Pinterest, email marketing options. Sometimes we have Amazon. We definitely have Shopify, Magento, and WooCommerce, all of which are opening doors for businesses like ours to reach consumers all over the world at record rates never seen before. A good global digital agency is a must. Too many times, businesses, especially manufacturers, they'll have a brother-in-law, a niece, a nephew that come in and they say they could do bits and pieces. But at the end of the day, it's only bits and pieces. You have to do it right. An agency can act as your outsourced chief marketing officer and a marketing department. Very important. They have the experience, they have the talent, they have the personnel, they have the people who have the skills that are relevant and up to date, and they're able to take a business from a go-to-market to a expanding, scaling type business over a period of time. When you're looking for these agencies, it's important to understand their credentials. Are they a marketing partner with Facebook? Are they a marketing partner with Google? Are they a partner with Shopify, Klaviyo, and other platforms? These things actually point to that they're real versus these fly-by-night agencies are people working out of the garage trying to act as if they're bigger than they are. These things are important because when something goes sideways, you need to have access to those resources to be able to sift through the information to know what you need to do to right your ship. So now, here's a story. This is a story of a failed distributor and a successful manufacturer. It's kind of interesting because both said the same. It was the best decision that we made. Last year, we had an American outdoor retailer as a client. Great product. There was a really good product market fit in the US. They partnered with us. We actually identified their market. They thought their market was people who like to camp and RV. It turned out to be moms who just needed a moment to get away. They were controlling their household, providing their dinners, scheduling their online schooling or their offline schooling, whatever, taking their kids to soccer practice. And they needed time for themselves. They wanted to read a book. They wanted to get their iPad out and just relax in this product. So this company partnered as a US distributor for a Chinese-based manufacturer. In other words, they didn't have the money to go through production, prototyping. So they leveraged the manufacturer's abilities to do that, to support them, and then they brought the product to market. Online sales grew like crazy. They started out at only about 8,000 US per month. They grew to well over 400,000 in US sales per month. In a short period of time. This is unique. This is what we call scaling. The distributor went out of business last year because of the financial impact of COVID. They just couldn't do it anymore. It didn't matter how much they were making. It just, they couldn't make it work. This is a common story that we saw, not just in the US, but around the world. This year, now we have the Chinese manufacturer as a client. Let me repeat, the Chinese manufacturer is now the client. We had the distributor, now we have the manufacturer. The manufacturer took over the business. They partnered with Fox. They realized that it was a great revenue stream, a great sales channel. They earned more margin per order than they did wholesale. And that's something that's really important. They made more money. They got a bigger piece of the pie. Since then, the business has doubled each month. Now they have higher margins and a new sales channel to supplement their other sales channels. They have less risk in their business because if all of a sudden something stopped, they still have this e-commerce business, which is generating cash for them. This is the new story. This is the common story. This is the story that we need to turn our manufacturing businesses in the future. Manufacturers, pay attention. To survive, you have to invest in your direct-to-consumer e-commerce. You have to. Also, you need to focus on your local domestic markets as well as your international markets. Very, very important. As we know, many manufacturers are looking and learning from Q1 and Q2 of last year, where they're trying to build up their domestic capabilities more and more. They're investing in new factories, higher technology that takes less manpower to operate, and to try to control the flow of materials coming into the factory so they don't get caught up in an international shipping bottleneck if something happens. They're able to produce. So you might as well generate business internally, meaning in that domestic market. Build that market up to your e-commerce capabilities, and then also look to expand globally. So you always have that domestic market. You always have that international market. At Fox, we have clients like Korean ginseng. They've been around forever, since I want to say the late 1800s. They operate around the world. We have Agua Bendita. Agua Bendita is a bathing suit company, a bikini company, swimwear, that they crush it. They produce their product in Medellin, Colombia. Each piece is handmade and they ship around the world. So they left their Colombian market and now they participate in markets around the world. And they have Victoria's Secret models as their models for their product. That's how big they are. We have Quinn Designs. They do a very smart, lightweight, high-tech motorcycle helmet made out of carbon fiber. They're out of the UK and the US. All of these companies realize that their direct-to-consumer is their most important channel. They have distributors, they have third-party retailers. You look at a billion-dollar company like Korean ginseng, but the reality of it is that direct-to-consumer over the last several years has been surging, even before COVID. And now it's going to surge more, and you need to be in that position to take advantage of it. Nike just did it. In recent years, Nike shifted from selling through their third-party retailers to its own direct-to-consumer sales channel and e-commerce business. So they put them in a stronger position so they can get past hard times. And what they saw is that their online sales increased by 82%. So they realized what they need to do, that yes, they need third-party retailers. I'm not saying just get rid of them. They need distributors. I'm not saying get rid of them. But what I am saying is that don't let them make money off of you by by exploiting that you don't have e-commerce. Do e-commerce as well, participate, grow that business. Then you have a new sales channel, which is a powerful sales channel generating significant revenue. So now, how to eat an elephant one bite at a time. Well, you have to launch your e-commerce in phases. You can't just think that once you launch an e-commerce initiative that all of a sudden you're going to get rich. That's foolish. When we've launched our factories, we knew that as soon as we turned on the light switch that it's going to be some work, and it still needed to be work. E-commerce is the same. You have to have strategy, planning, you have to execute. These are the keys. You have to stay calm. You have to let the data guide you. There's going to be times where things are just going to go wrong, just like in anything we do. And we can't let that deter us. We have to learn from those things and take those key learnings, whether we're winning or losing, and look to expand what we're doing to get better. Also, very, very, very important, you have to find a capable digital agency. Simple. There is no substitution for marketing experience. We've had hundreds of clients. We've seen so many different situations. We work directly with the big companies like Facebook and Google to understand what's going to happen in the future. And then when it does happen, to position our clients to be in the best position to take advantage of it. An agency, you can leverage that. You can leverage their creative talent. You can leverage their expertise at designing a website that they know people are going to use and convert, on which ads tend to work best. And then how to improve. How do you read those numbers every week, every month to get better? And then is there any information in this that you can use for your overall business? Knowledge and resource and expertise can really lessen that learning curve. So if you use that brother-in-law, that niece, that nephew, they really don't have that knowledge. And you run into more problems than not. So it's just best to go with the experts, just like you would use a consultant to help you make a decision. You would use an agency as your outsourced marketing department, which saves you money on overhead. Also, it saves you money on sending your employees to different courses around the world to increase their skills. E-commerce is a step-by-step process. Every process has its steps. And just like when you built your factory, your manufacturing capabilities, and you expand it, you need to allocate sufficient time and capital resources to your e-commerce. If you're a $1 million a year company, US, if you're a 10 million US, if you're 100 million US, give resources to your e-commerce, and you'll be amazed at what can happen. Set milestones, create a marketing plan. Very important. This is where an agency is key. An agency can do that marketing plan for you and help work with you to set those milestones to become profitable. Select the right e-commerce platform and marketing channels. Really important. As I mentioned before, we have the globalization of digital marketing, which means that in LA, I can design a Facebook ad that's going to appear in Germany, that's going to appear not in China, but it's going to appear in Brazil, going to appear many places around the world. It makes life easier. So you have to pick. Do I use Shopify? Do I use Magento to be my engine for e-commerce? Do I use Facebook, Google, WeChat, or other places to generate that traffic and bring people into our sales funnel so we can look at the data to see how they convert and get better? Also, we need to allow enough time for testing and analysis to get it right. This doesn't mean we're going to test, as marketers for 10 years. No, but it doesn't mean it's going to take 1 or 2 weeks. You're looking at, a month and a half of data, and then that cycle starts to lessen. Then it becomes a month, then it becomes 3 weeks, and then you're able to make those decisions that you need to make. But in the meantime, you need to collect and analyze as much data as possible. This helps. How people are coming into the site. What is their customer experience, the UX, once they get there? How is the site, winning and losing? What can be done? How are the ads winning or losing? What's the creative that's winning? What's the copy that's really resonating with consumers? So on and so forth. Then we have to be flexible and allocate incremental resources as needed. Sometimes, we have to put more resources in dev. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have to put more in marketing. We have to be flexible to take advantage of the things that we need to do in order to be successful. And the biggest thing to keep in mind, teamwork can produce amazing results. And don't forget it. When you partner up with your agency is an extension of your company. And working together, you as a manufacturer can tell them the products, the knowledge that you have, and they can share the knowledge of marketing. So together, the agency becomes smarter in what you're doing, and you become smarter in what the agency's doing. That's teamwork. Now, this is why we all came. Here are some successful e-commerce strategies. Number one, develop domestic and international e-commerce together. I've mentioned this before, so important. You want to win at home, you want to win abroad. Give your business a chance to dominate locally in your domestic market and compete in a global market. Don't limit yourself. Create a full funnel approach. This is really important. We have top of funnel, mid funnel, lower funnel. We call them new acquisition, retargeting, and then even better retargeting. And what you want to do is cast that wide net, get as many prospects in as you can to understand who converts and why they convert. Once you understand that, then you can create those audiences and really scale by just focusing on the people who are converting. And pull people through the funnel, through that awareness stage about your product, considering your product, also making a decision on if they should buy or not. And then you use the latest marketing tactics to drive, SEO, conversion rate optimization, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Pinterest ads, so on and so forth. Be data driven. Data is king. Let the data guide you through the customer journey. Set up KPIs, key performance indicators, where you can understand what's going on with the business and where you need to make changes to get those numbers to improve. We have, clicks, add to carts, purchases, revenue, conversion rates, return on ad spend, a lot of different ones. You have to design the ones that are right for you, that make sense, and try to stay away from vanity metrics that are really not going to help the business. We're looking for things that are really going to help you grow. Test everything. Test hero products, ads, creatives, websites, marketing platforms, anything you can. Data, you got to get it. And from that, you can optimize everything. You look at the data points, you analyze it. That's what the agency does. Then you focus on how to increase conversion and improve as you go along. Also, do not be afraid to scale. Very important. A lot of times businesses, they act like they want to scale. And scaling means that you find those opportunities where you can really invest to bring in money. As I talked about that company before, they were doing 8,000 US a month. They grew to over 400,000 US a month. That's 400,000 US a month, and they could have grown even more at that time. And the trick was, as soon as we tested, we optimized, we found the target audience, we got stable return on ad spend and ROI, then we were able to put money and resources to keep it going. And as long as it maintained those numbers, we just kept on adding to it. And people kept buying more and more and more. And it went from, probably, between 50 to 100 clients to 1,000 clients to 2,000 clients in no time. And this is what we're looking to do as a business. So don't be afraid to find those opportunities and invest in it. Don't get stuck in your old ways like, oh no, we only budgeted X amount for the year. Those consumers are not going to be here next year when we have new budget. So take advantage of things while you can. That's how you get the growth. And I leave you with this. Remember these things. To survive, you must do e-commerce. The way manufacturers have done business in the past just changed. It's gone. Many are focusing on developing their localized manufacturing capabilities so they can compete even when shipping is clogged up, even when resources in other areas are unavailable. They're making sure that they can compete in their domestic market. You need to do the same for your e-commerce. You need to compete domestically and globally. You need to find the right agency partner to help you start. Nothing beats experience. Once again, don't use that brother-in-law. Don't use that niece or nephew. It's just not going to work. An experienced marketing partner can help you. They're the experts in advertising. You can lean on them for strategic planning and guidance and how to filter through all of the data points and do the data analysis. Let them do their job. Let them show you how to grow together, and everything will be great. And lastly, again, don't be afraid to scale. When you see real opportunities to grow, do it. Those people are not going to be around forever, those consumers. So you have to do it. This is how we sell online. We look at data, we understand how they convert. We see we can put more money into it and still get the same conversion that's growing our business. So let's do it. This is how you sell locally or around the world. Also, e-commerce can become your biggest sales channel if you let it. Don't listen to your sales reps. Don't listen to other people who are only thinking about their commissions. Think about your business and what your business needs. All of us can use another sales channel that's bringing in, 25 to 50% of revenue at higher margins. As manufacturers, this is the future. If you don't do it, your competition is going to eat your lunch for you, and you're just never going to be the same and always struggle. This is a way to not struggle. Develop that part of your business. And remember, you got this. Relax, enjoy the process, take the recommendations, go out, learn a little bit more. Good luck. Once again, you can always reach me if you need me. Go to the first or second slide. You can see my information. We're here to help you. I'm here to help you as well. I hope you have a great conference, and looking forward to doing the Q&A afterwards.